First of all, just let me say, let me try my Chinese. 谢谢大家，你好，辛苦。我很高兴有机会与大家讲话。I haven't spoken with Chinese the last probably 10 years, but I did spend a semester. Sit down. I spent a semester at Beijing University. I studied Chinese at Georgetown as well back in 2000. I graduated in 2001, and then I went to Georgetown Law School. I'm running for Attorney General of Minnesota, and the Attorney General of Minnesota is the top legal officer in the state, the top law enforcement officer in the state. It's a very important office. And listening to Chuck's presentation on data desegregation, really eye-opening. I served in the Minnesota House from 2011 to 2012, and at the time we had some similar issues going on with respect to preschool education. And I fought a fight there with respect to how we should not have laws in this country or in this state that are based on ethnicity or race. And in fact, that's a principle in the United States Constitution, the supreme law of the land, the Equal Protection Clause. So if the government is going to start creating policy based on ethnic disparities, based on racial disparities, and based on race, that's repugnant to the Equal Protection Clause, which was put in place in the 14th Amendment of the Constitution of the United States after we fought a civil war and hundreds of thousands of people died to eliminate racial discrimination and, in its worst form, slavery. So you're fighting a very good fight. It needs to be fought. We cannot let those terrible concepts creep back into our law. So thank you for doing what you're doing. Now, I have a special place in my heart for the Chinese community, having spent quite a bit of time in China and in Taiwan. I worked at a law firm in Taiwan for a summer, and I traveled all over China when I was in undergraduate at Georgetown. And I just saw how hardworking all the Chinese people are, and how hospitable, how incredibly hospitable folks in China were to me. And it's just an example of how things should be here too. And you know, when I was in Beijing in 2000, there was a small restaurant down in Putong that we used to go to, my colleagues and I, and we would go there maybe once a week. And we hadn't been there for a couple of weeks, and we went down to Putong and came to the restaurant, but there was no restaurant one day. It was a pile of rubble. And why is this gone? Right? Why is there a restaurant here? And I saw the owner of the restaurant, who I had come to know a little bit, standing over the side, who was very insulted. And I went over to talk to him. And he explained to me that 2 weeks before, people from the Chinese government had come and told him that his restaurant would be demolished. He would be compensated, but the restaurant would be demolished to make way for green space for the Beijing Olympics that are coming up in several years. Right? And 2 weeks notice. 2 weeks notice. And I asked him if he hadn't gotten any compensation yet. No, he hadn't gotten any compensation yet. And he didn't look terribly hopeful that he would. See, that's a problem with the rule of law right there. Right? That's a problem where if the government can go in and just by will destroy a business that a person spent a life creating, then you have no protection and the law means nothing. We don't want that to happen here in the United States as well. So that's why it's so important and so wonderful to see you all getting politically involved, getting engaged, standing up for the rule of law, standing against data desegregation, standing against bringing race and ethnicity into the law. We cannot have that in the United States. We cannot have that in Minnesota. When I'm Attorney General, I'll make sure that we don't have that in this state. Just a couple other brief things about the Office of the Attorney General, why this race is so important. Welfare fraud. Some of you have probably heard about the story in the news the last couple of weeks with Somali daycare centers and welfare fraud. Have you heard about this?
Yes.
So we have a situation where $100 million a year of state taxpayer dollars, subsidies that are supposed to go to children in need to pay for daycare, childcare, those subsidies are being defrauded by daycare centers in the Somali community. They're claiming to care for children that they don't actually care for. Then stealing the state dollars, and a significant portion of the money is going overseas to what are called hawalas, which are money courier services that are set up in Islamic countries because they can't charge interest under Islamic law, so it's like a substitute banking system. And at least one of those hawalas, where this money is going, $100 million a year, is owned by or affiliated with Al-Shabaab, the terrorist organization. So, just terrible. terrible fraud, supporting terrorists who are killing Americans. Now, how could this happen, you might ask? And what does this have to do with the Office of the Attorney General? Well, the Attorney General is the one statewide official that has the duty and the authority under state law to prosecute and also bring civil lawsuits to recover money from welfare programs that are defrauded. So Lori Swanson, our current Attorney General, she's been Attorney General for 11 years. And she has known about this problem, as we all have, for several years now. And she has done nothing. She should have been prosecuting these cases, she should have been investigating, and then lining up cases to prosecute, and bringing cases to recover money from the state as well. She's done none of that. So when I'm Attorney General, we're going to focus on welfare fraud, we're going to reinvigorate the welfare fraud unit of the office, we're going to stop welfare fraud, and we're going to make sure that we don't have money, taxpayer dollars, going overseas to fund terrorism. We're going to do a lot of other things. I'll cut it short because we all want to eat, right? But we're going to reinvigorate the criminal law division of the office. We're going to keep our kids and our families safe. We're going to make sure our county attorneys, who are our frontline prosecutors, have the resources that they need to prosecute crimes and put criminals behind bars. And we're also going to work on the issue of election integrity. We have a problem in Minnesota with voter fraud and illegal voting. We're going to send the message that if you cast an illegal ballot in Minnesota, you're going to go to jail. Just doing that thing, it's going to change the way government and politics works in the state. We're going to get our state back on a path toward liberty and towards prosperity. That means people working hard, immigrants working hard, all of us working hard to raise ourselves up and to create opportunities for our children, right? And we're going to secure that into the future by securing the rule of law, which is really the foundation of everything America is built upon and stands for. So thank you so much for being here. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak. God bless.